Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome to my channel, John the Video Guy here. And this After Effects tutorial, I'm going to be showing you guys how to create this cool cutout paper animation inside After Effects. Now this tutorial is based off of a Whole Foods commercial, so I'll show you that here on my window here. So you can kind of see there's a GIF animation with a changing background, and there's a hand holding up a piece of paper, and you can see these different, images being cut out and animated. I'm going to be using clips that I shot, but feel free if you want to follow along to shoot your own footage. Going over what I captured to create this, I first created the background video. So this is what the hand is going to go over, and then I shot the hand holding the piece of paper, and then I shot my images. So just random images of me pointing and doing things that can be created into a GIF animation. So if that sounds interesting to you guys, hit the like button and follow along as we learn how to create this effect. So the first thing that you'll want to do is once you capture your images, you'll have to cut them out. And what I did is just open these up in Photoshop, and I'll show you how to cut these out pretty easily. So the first thing, once you open up Photoshop, double click on the layer to unlock it. And depending on how you shot your photo, you could, if you have a high contrast image, you could, under the quick actions buttons, there is a remove background button. If you click that, it'll do the work for you, depending on how your background is. If you do have a complicated background, no worries. You can go up to your lasso tool and select magnetic lasso tool, and then just click and draw around your image. And do this for all the images and save them as PNG files. Once you have those images ready, you're going to import them into After Effects. Open up After Effects, go to File, Import File. I'm going to locate to my transparent images and click Open. I'm also going to import the background and the hand video, and we're going to import that into our project. Next, I'm going to create a new composition based on our background video, so I'm going to click and drag that to the new composition button. Next, I'm going to add the hand video over top of it, and we're going to work on the hand video first. So I'm going to solo this layer by clicking the solo button, and we'll double click on it to go inside. Now there's quite a few different ways that you can cut out this image, but one of the best ways is just to use the roto brush tool. This really depends on how you shot it. If you have a color background, you could also use key light. If you shot on a dark background, you could use Luma key, but in most scenarios, roto brush is also going to work as well. One other thing before we get started, I'm going to go back into our composition. I'm going to click O on our keyboard and click N, and that will trim the composition to the end of that clip. Right click on your area and go to Trim Comp to Work Area. That way we're only working in the region of the hand video. Now double click back on your hand video and then go and grab your roto brush tool in the top tools panel. And then you'll notice that you have a green dot on your cursor, and then what you'll want to do is just draw around your subjects. So your hand and your paper. Kind of get the fingers in there and kind of outline kind of where you want it being selected. And then you'll notice that After Effects will draw a purple or kind of magenta outline around your image. That looks pretty good. Just make sure that anything that you want to leave in the image is selected by that purple magenta. And once you're ready, just click on the spacebar and After Effects will roto brush your image for you. Once it's done, hit the spacebar. And if you're happy with your results, what you can do is click the freeze button. And this will essentially freeze that cutout in the image. This will take a while, so be sure if you have to go to use the restroom during this time, this is a good time for a restroom break, make some coffee, do what you need to do. This process does take a little bit of time. So once it's done, the next thing we'll actually do is motion track our footage, because you'll notice in the Whole Foods commercial, the paper hand moves and you want to, trace where that GIF is so it follows the piece of paper. So to do that, click on your clip and go up to Window Tracker. And if it's not selected to the right, it's right over here. Click on Track Motion and you'll notice a track point. We're just going to track the position, so that's okay. Just expand the search area and expand the inner field here and try to find something that is good at tracking. What I notice is the thumb is really good to track, since the thumb really holds the paper together, so wherever the thumb goes, the paper goes. So this is a good track point to use in your image. Then once you have it selected, be sure you hit the Track Forward button, and this will track the motion of your paper. More waiting, guys, another bathroom break. Once it's done, you can go back to the beginning, go to Layer, New Null Object, and this will be the layer we apply the track data to. Click back on your hand video and go to Edit Target. Choose the layer to null object and click OK and click Apply and click OK so it applies it to the X and Y values of the null object. And when we click on the null object and we click U on our keyboard, you'll notice all the tracking data is added to the position value. We'll collapse that. So the next part, guys, is creating the GIF sequence. So we're gonna go to our project panel, untwirl transparent folder where all of our images are. If we open them up, you'll see that we have them cut out here. So we'll make a composition based on these 5 images. We'll select them from our project panel and drag them to the new composition button. And then under create single composition, you could create multiple compositions, but in this case, we'll just make a single one. Next, change how long you want the composition to be. In this case, I'm gonna make each of the images 6 frames, but there's 5 images. So really all in all, I'm gonna make the composition 1 second long. So I'm going to change it to 1 and click OK. Then I'm going to go out into my composition, go to around the 6 frame mark, I should say, and then hold down Option and bracket, and this will trim all the layers to that point. Then just select all your layers, right click on them, go to Keyframe Assistant, Sequence Layers, and then click OK, and this will sequence them all out for you. Then if we zoom out here and change the fit, the view finder to fit, then we can see what we got going on here. The end is cut off a little bit. I'm going to add about 4 frames to the composition by going up to composition settings. And if we zoom out, here we go. Now everything is visible. You can really make this however long you want. If you want it faster or longer, you can really adjust these settings to however you wish. Now back in the project panel, we're gonna move this out and we're gonna hit return on our keyboard and we're gonna rename this GIF animation. So now we got our GIF composition here. Now we'll double click back into the background video and we'll actually rename this. We'll hit return and name this Final Cutout GIF Animation. That way we know that's there. All right, so we're gonna unsolo the hand and unsolo the null. So this is what we got so far. We got our hand in here and the background video. Remember that these are separate layers. And next we're gonna add in our GIF animation. We'll just drag and drop this right in here. We'll click S on our keyboard and scale it down a little bit. And we'll scale it to a similar size of the paper and reposition by clicking and dragging and aligning them to the piece of paper. Once you got a good position, you can change the parent pick whip tool and parent it to the null object. That way, when you go out in time, the GIF animation composition will follow the null object. So wherever the paper goes, so does the GIF animation. And next, to create that cutout type of look, what you're gonna wanna do is make sure the GIF animation is above the hand video and then change the track matte to alpha inverted matte. If you don't see these options, click on your toggle switches down below to switch them. But change it to alpha matte inverted and you can see we kind of create a cutout cool looking thing here. Now this animation is only just over a second long, but to easily make it the length of the composition, what we're going to do is right click on the layer, go to time, enable time remapping. Then down in the video description, guys, I pasted an expression for you guys. Go copy that and paste it here. So option click on the stopwatch next to time remapping and paste that expression that I provided down in the video description. If you want to learn more how to use it, I created a video on it. I'll link it right up here if you want to see how to use this expression. Click off, and then when you expand the sides of this, you'll notice that it loops and actually ping pong. So if you're familiar with the boomerang type of effect, that's what it's doing here in the composition. And now if we go back to our video here, you'll notice that their faces are actually visible. And an easy way we can accomplish this is if we go back into After Effects, we'll create a new shape layer based on where my head is. So we're gonna grab the pen tool and just make sure fill selected, strokes not selected, and then draw a shape around my head. Close the shape and then parent it to the null object. and we'll just drag this down underneath the null object. We'll click on our GIF animation layer and we'll duplicate it by hitting Command D. And then what we'll do is change the target matte to alpha matte. And this essentially puts it inside the shape layer. And we'll actually unhide that layer as well by hitting the I tool. And there you go, guys. We have our cool little animation here ready to rock and roll. So there you go, guys. I hope you found this interesting and useful in any way. Some mattes, alpha matte type of things going on here. If you want to learn more about alpha mattes, how these kind of work together, I did make a video going over that. I'll link it right up there if you want to go check that out. Otherwise, guys, I hope you found this entertaining and useful. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.